Welcome. My name is Patricia Lassard, and I'm a facilitator of the Breakthrough Parenting Program designed and developed by Dr. Jane A. Major of Santa Monica, California. Today is the third part of Lesson 3, and I want to be talking about developing compassion. Surprisingly enough, children are not born compassionate. Instead, they are egocentric or self-centered, and it takes a lot of teaching to help them learn how to empathize with others. So there are two principles or universal truths that will be guiding our actions, and they are an important way for people to learn how to become compassionate. They are universal, and they're used around the world to teach children moral and ethical behavior. Also, we want to think about that our feelings are our birthright. By virtue of being human, we are entitled to all of our feelings. Having certain feelings does not, however, mean that we are necessarily entitled to act upon them. An example would be being so frustrated and angry that you go, I want to murder my ex. Well, of course, you are entitled to that feeling, but you are not entitled, of course, to act upon that. That is an extreme example, but that is an example to show us that, yes, we are entitled to that feeling, but no, we are not entitled to act upon it. And you can use that with all other feelings. So our feelings, we are entitled to our feelings, so therefore, when someone is having a feeling or feeling a certain way or saying they're feeling a certain way, we should not be saying to them, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. No, we don't know what their experiences are that led up to them feeling the way they are. And yes, remember, they are entitled to those feelings. So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge those feelings in our children and help them work through and process them. So the two principles that I want us to teach our children to help guide their behavior is one I think a lot of us are familiar with, is the golden rule, and that would be being treat people the way you would like to be treated. Then the universal rule, act the way you would want everyone to act. So if you think about those things, treating people the way you would want to be treated and act the way you'd want everyone to act, that gives us some very good guidelines on how to decide on our behaviors. So remember, I was talking about that children are not normally born compassionate, that they are egocentric or self-centered. So if we take that into consideration, and that's very young children, and that does not mean we let them stay that way. It's our role as children's guide and mentor to help develop the compassion in them, and so that they don't get stuck not developing compassion. So young children cannot put their needs aside and consider another person's point of view until they have attained a certain degree of psychological development and have had positive role models to learn from. So we need to model the behavior that we would like our children to acquire. Think about it, how children start out as not compassionate and little egocentric and self-centered. We want to think about, if everyone stayed the way children are, think about what our civilization would be like, because everyone would be out for themselves without caring about the well-being of others. And we don't want a whole bunch of people like that. And we definitely don't want to be raising children like that. Now, parents can also teach compassion by truly listening to their children. In doing so, you set the example that they are important, that their needs, thoughts, and feelings are important, and you teach them to listen. Because people really do want to be heard. Now, one of the things that we need to teach our children is to understand the difference between acknowledgement and approval. So we acknowledge their feelings, but that does not necessarily mean we approve of their behavior. So we need to have them acknowledge their feelings as well, and then use those principles to determine how they're going to move forward with their behavior and respond to their feelings. An example with the children and a child is quite often when children get to a certain stage and they don't agree with us, they'll say, I hate you. If your child hasn't said that to you, it will be coming fairly soon. A simple acknowledgement of the child's feelings is enough. Simply saying, I understand that you are really mad at me right now. So you've acknowledged their feelings. You don't say, of course you don't hate me. See the difference? And think about how that makes them feel, how that makes them feel heard. So once you learn to interpret the emotional content of what your children are telling you, even day-to-day conversations can give you tremendous insight. Once you have the key to these important inner workings, you will be able to guide your children wisely by staying in touch with their deepest level of feelings, thoughts, and needs. Thank you. Next video, we're going to be talking about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how that affects development. And we will work into the 6 steps to problem solving. So until next time, happy parenting.